Hello everyone, first of a disclaimer in case you haven't noticed, there's a bit of product placement going on in this video, but I have to remind you of that because of government regulations. So since we got that out of the way, let's speak about Battlefield 5 Last Tiger campaign and specifically about one scene. Now first off, I must admit I was wrong. I think 1 or 2 years ago I did a video why there will likely never be a AAA first-person shooter campaign in the upcoming years. Well, I was wrong. If you're wrong, admit it, and then what do you next? You go into counterattack. So here we are. So basically, I give you now a brief description of the scene. There's a link to the cutscene below. I won't cut into the cutscene in here because, well, copyright strikes and everything else, you never know what's gonna happen. So I try to keep this out, so brief description. So basically the Tiger and his crew manages to hide in a building away from the Allies. Now the problem is, the commander determines, okay, we need to find a way out. We need to scout, we need to see where the Allies are and how to get our Tiger and our crew out. And there's basically the guy who I call the fanatic. He is the gunner, and it's important here. I don't know if they acknowledged this in the script or did know about this. He's the gunner and he's basically the deputy commander. So actually he's speaking out. If they knew the background is kind of correct, but considering the upcoming errors, I'm not particularly sure if this happened. So this deputy commander, the gunner, is quite a fanatic. And he says, send Hartmann, which is the loader, and he's a more timid, frightened guy. So these were the two replacements they recently got in. The driver, who is like the commander, an old guy and quite a veteran, says, yeah, he's not in the state that you can send him out here. Then the fanatic argues, well, you are the commander, you are too important. I'm the gunner, I'm also important, and the driver is also too important. Whereas Hartmann is angeschlagen, damaged, and expendable. So the commander, which basically looks like Rommel to a certain degree, which is another thing, sends him finally out. So what is the major problem here? So you don't look first at who is expendable or not, you look first what is the mission at hand. And the mission here is clearly to survive. First to survive, and second to find a way out, so not getting caught. So you don't ask yourself who is expendable, you ask yourself who is the guy who will likely lead to the success of the mission. And this includes not getting caught at all. So you don't send out some frightened guy who is scared of everything and probably will drop his rifle or his SMG or something and get you caught more likely. Additionally, he is not experienced. The loader is the least experienced guy in a tank. What does this mean? He's the least experienced, so the chances that his tactical assessment, that his identification of the enemy, that him finding enemy positions or enemy troop movements is properly done is extremely unlikely. So what do you need? The best man available needs stealth, observation skills, and tactical sense. And this basically comes back to the commander. And from what I know, usually the Germans send out their commander from the tank to assess the situation. Otto Karius noted this in Tigers in the Mud. Of course, this is a memoir, as you never really know, but generally he is the most experienced guy. I mean, in this video, it basically looks like Rommel, and he looks like a First World War veteran. So usually, for instance, Rommel and many other generals from the First World War, they were active company commanders or something. They fought in the First World War, so they have a lot of sense. And this is, this is to a certain degree a bit of a major problem I have, because if you take a guy that looks like Rommel, well, at least make him act a bit like Rommel. The problem was actually keeping Rommel behind the lines, okay? This was the main issue. It was not the problem that Rommel was sitting in the back or something. The problem was he's always in the front, and one of his adjutants was shot. Another staff member, both in France, was heavily wounded and other stuff. Now, there are some missions where you can say, okay, we could send out actually the expendable guy. And what kind of missions is this? I think one example would be in the movie Stalingrad, the German movie Stalingrad, where I think they assault a Soviet position and they need somebody to throw a grenade into there, but expose himself. So throwing a grenade is of course still pretty dangerous, also because if he drops it or if he gets shot before he can fire it so that it lands in their own lines. But here you can say, okay, here I take the most expendable guy, because the chances of success are rather higher that he can throw a grenade properly to a certain degree. I mean, it's not that easy, but usually they were trained in that. So here is you would go for who is expendable first, but not for a crucial mission where you need to determine the situation, where you need to be stealthy and then also have a tactical sense to find a way out of the mess. So in my opinion, this scene is completely garbage and shows that the writer, whoever, didn't have a proper sense of this. Well, at least this is my thought on this. So if you're interested in my merchandise, there's a link below in my Teespring store. This one is made by Nuclear Jackal. This is a new edition. And well, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.